The latest tools to train law enforcement can now be found in Maple Grove. A newly expanded training facility is now available. Reporter Rusty Ray was there for the official opening.
It's a $17 million addition to the North Metro Regional Public Safety Training Facility. All of the public officials who spoke at today's ribbon cutting spoke a lot about the recent deaths of law enforcement officers in the line of duty here in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and of course most recently in Fargo, North Dakota. They all talked about how important it was to get the word out that the funding was needed for the best training possible, and everyone who spoke said this facility delivers.
We are grateful for the commitment to and an investment in police training that ultimately puts the highest quality officers in our communities, which keeps our citizens safe.
At a time where we're being pressed to be perfect, the only thing that's closest to perfect or that would get you close to perfect is training.
Some of the features of the new facility include a virtual reality type training, 300 degrees around an officer to give him or her a lot of real world scenarios that they're often confronted with when responding to calls. There's also an expanded gun range indoors with more lanes for more officers to use. There's also an area to practice traffic stops or interventions in a variety of indoor settings with movable walls and doors. Officers from 20 different law enforcement agencies train here, but primarily it's officers from Brooklyn Park, Maple Grove, Plymouth, and the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office. In Maple Grove, Rusty Ray, CCX News.
The $17 million expansion was made possible by a combination of local, county, and state funding. A Minneapolis man is accused of at least 25 separate thefts from the Brooklyn Center TJ Maxx store. According to a court summons, Brooklyn Center police allege that 19-year-old Devontre Snoddy stole almost $6,000 worth of merchandise from the store. Police stopped Snoddy in March in the parking lot at the Shingle Creek Crossing shopping center with around $140 in stolen merchandise. TJ Maxx security then provided police with surveillance footage of 24 other thefts. Snoddy faces felony counts of burglary and theft. Law enforcement will have a presence at Robbinsdale Middle School once again when classes resume this fall. This week, the Robbinsdale City Council is expected to approve an agreement with the Robbinsdale School District to place a school resource officer inside Robbinsdale Middle School. The goal of having an officer on campus is to help the school district deter and prevent any sort of violence. The district will pay the city more than $56,000 to have the officer on site for the entire school year. The city had to pull the school resource officer out of Robbinsdale Middle School last year due to staffing challenges. If you see an increased police presence on Tuesday around the Plymouth Community Center, don't be alarmed. Plymouth Police will be working with the Wayzata School District on an important safety drill. Tuesday, the Plymouth Community Center will host a family reunification drill. A group of 50 adult volunteers will play the role of parents, and more than 100 kids from grades 1 through 12 will play the role of students. The goal is to make sure the district and first responders are prepared should a tragedy ever arise at one of the schools.
This is literally a practice of our communication, the flow. We're closing roads, directing traffic, seeing the timing, seeing how if we call out our family reunification team, how long does it take for them to get on site?
The drill will begin at 8:30 in the morning and go until about noon. Police in Robbinsdale say a scammer is targeting seniors for a roofing project. According to police, a man with an Irish accent who calls himself Tony has approached homeowners saying there's something wrong with their roof. He has fake business cards that make it look like he works for a legitimate company. Through a verbal agreement with the homeowner, he and his crew make plans to fix the roof. Once the crew starts taking apart the roof, they ask for payment. Then they leave without finishing the project. The group recently swindled a 91-year-old woman out of $10,000. Police recommend using a written contract with construction companies before they start work. Homeowners should also seek a second opinion from a roofing expert and wait to pay contractors until a project is completed. 4 Maple Grove restaurants failed their liquor compliance checks and served alcohol to undercover decoys. Applebee's, Redigio Grill, Rusty Taco, and Portillo's failed recent police compliance checks. For Portillo's, it was their second violation in the past 3 years. The Maple Grove City Council will consider punishment for the businesses. For failing a compliance check, businesses can be fined and have their liquor licenses suspended or revoked. The City of Brooklyn Park will consider a new vision for a site that has been slated for redevelopment for many years. A proposal by a Brooklyn Park-based developer submitted a concept plan to the city for a site along Brooklyn Boulevard near Regent Avenue. The proposal includes a mix of senior housing, market rate and affordable apartments, townhomes and commercial development. A recent proposal that included housing and an indoor farming facility for the site fell through due to lack of financing. Other proposals, including a grocery store and multifamily housing development, have also fallen through. The site is considered a top strategic redevelopment priority for the city. Maple Grove Day is wrapped up on Sunday, which featured everything from bed races to a duct tape fashion show to outdoor yoga. We leave you with some of the sights of this year's festival.
The three-day USA Cup Soccer Weekend Tournament wrapped up Sunday with no local winners. The five-day regular Cup tournament gets underway Tuesday morning. And then Tuesday night marks one of the highlights of each year's Cup, the opening ceremonies.
Well, opening ceremonies is magical, really. You know, all the teams line up by their state or their country and they march in. They get a chance to dress in, you know, their native attire, and then afterwards, of course, there'll be some sort of special guest appearance and then fireworks. It really is just a party and a beautiful thing.
And you can watch for highlights from some of our local teams in the tournament throughout the week here on CCX on our website at ccxmedia.org. While the big USA Cup soccer tournament is going on here locally, a Plymouth-based youth team is in Colorado this week. Not a place they could have envisioned a few months ago.
It was not a good start to the season for the Fusion 16 and under girls soccer club. The team managed just 2 wins and 2 ties in league play.
It was a bumpy ride. We weren't doing as well in league, so we didn't really think that we'd get to this point. So regionals was a big surprise. We got to the finals.
Tyler Seidel took over as the team's head coach this season and believes the group just needed time to adjust to the new systems he put in place. But the Fusion is rolling now. The girls recently won both the Minnesota Cup and then last month the U.S. Club Midwest Regional in Illinois, winning 5 games in 4 days. That qualified the team to this week's national tournament in Colorado. It's not a scenario the girls saw coming.
The whole team, I think, is very surprised. We went into regionals and we didn't know how it was going to go, but none of us had any expectations, but it turned out to work out for us. So.
I think we've just grown as the season, especially with Tyler as our coach. We've learned a lot of new things from last year, and we've really taken those in. And I think just doing so good at regionals in each game, we really thought like, oh, this is actually, we could make it to nationals.
The players say the coaching this season has been great. Their head coach, though, won't take the credit.
I would say it's all talent. I'm lucky.
The Fusion's tournament championships prove that this is a group that comes through on the big stage.
We go to a tournament and it's like it's business time. I've never coached a team that responds. You don't even have to really say anything. You just keep it normal and they just go out there and perform. It's been incredible.
Not that league games aren't important to us, but we go to tournaments and we get on the field and it's business from there. It's game time. We just put our hearts out on the field.
For tournaments, every single time we show up to every tournament, I think it's just because they're so fun for us and we just all love it.
Nationals will provide more tough competition. The girls say they are up for the challenge. Ironically, Tyler won't be there. There's a celebration of life event this week for his father, Thomas, who was just 69 years old when he passed away 4 months ago today. The Fusion went out and won a tournament in Las Vegas that week, dedicating it to the Seidels. Now they'll try to do the same at Nationals. Their coach can't imagine what these months would have been like without their support.
Yeah, their support has been amazing, and I can't thank them enough. Difficult time in my life, but yes, because of them, I've been able to get through it day by day, little by little. It gets better, but they are the bright spot, absolutely.
The Fusion are guaranteed at least 3 games at the national tournament, with the first one scheduled for Tuesday. And that's all for sports. More CCX News after this.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.
If you're buzzed and doing this to make yourself feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive.